Heidi ho, heidi ho, heidi ho. So, message for today. Um, I've mentioned and I continue mentioning because you can't say you didn't know. If you hear me say it and you ignore it, then that's ignorance. You're ignoring something. It's not nescience, the lack of knowledge because you didn't have access to it. So, anyway, that Gregorian calendar and NPC, non player character. So, all the stuff that is going on with the Epstein class, as some people like to call it, which I just call it the class of Hasatan, Satan. So, all the stuff that is going on with them, what you need to realize is yes, they do look at you as NPCs, non-player characters. You have no value to them. And the reason why is because you're entertained with bread and circuses. You believe anything that you want to, that anybody tells you. You follow the masses. You don't place your true faith in Hashem, God, what some know as God, and I only know as Ma'im Abba, mother and father. They take the foot of your child or you when you were born during this life in your birth. They put your footprint on a piece of parchment and use the Gregorian calendar date to trap your soul. It's witchcraft. It's magic. It's necromancy. So they believe they can trap your soul. So yes, they do devalue you. They're showing you that from the beginning when they take your footprint and believe they are capturing your soul with your footprint. Because the first thing that your foot touches is not the soil that belongs to Hashem, God, Allah, the Almighty Abba. First thing your foot touches is a piece of parchment with their Gregorian calendar date and their witchcraft, their black magic. So yes, they do consider you an NPC. But after all, are you an NPC? Well, let's think about it this way and try to use some logic in our reasoning and reconcile why somebody would look at you as less than them. So, even if you read an English version, even King James Version, I can point you at places. So let's say the Book of Esther. If you go just to the Book of Esther and actually read the Book of Esther and pay attention, it mentions Hashem's months in the Book of Esther. Exodus tells you that the year begins in spring, when the barley is in the month of Aviv, spring, which means when it's in the month of ripening, when all things are actually ripening, not just the barley, but a lot of animals give birth to their young in the spring. So anyway, you're not following Hashem's calendar. You're not following our Ima Abba's calendar. You're following Julius Caesar's calendar, JC's calendar, which was modified by Pope Gregory. And it all has to do with bells and whistles. Give them bread and circuses and they'll never rebel. But those individuals, a lot of those individuals do consider you to be like the beast of the field. And it's sad, but the sad reality is it's true. It doesn't mean that you're a bad individual, but you do like bread and circuses. A lot of individuals like to take handouts, gifts blind the eyes of justice. So it's easier to continue being a fool than to realize that you've been fooled. So you don't have to contract with that system. You have a God-given right to not contract with that system, but it's easier to contract with the system so you can gain materialism. So unfortunately, yes, a lot of those individuals do. And then you got to look up Yaakov, which is Jacob, Yaakov Frank's ideology, and it's called Frankism. So it was Sabbatean Frankist ideology. Sabbatean is the original man who came up with the idea of, and it was called Sabbatean ideology, and then Frankism, came along, which is just an offshoot of it. So it's kind of like individuals who read what they call the Old Testament. Well, the New Testament is an offshoot off the Old Testament, and that's teaching from Kabbalists who like to use words to mislead others. So even an honest Jew is going to tell you that those who believe they're Jews have a right to mislead others as long as they tell a little bit of truth, as long as they tell a little bit of a lie in there. So when they ask for your ID and you give them something that is actually belongs to their corporation, you're showing that you're owned. So it's the bankers, and you sold yourself to the creditors. There is so much truth in Torah and Tanakh, and most fools will never catch it. But unfortunately, it's your wicked heart, our wicked hearts, that make us do these things. So it's the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination that is always attached to us since the beginning. So when we originally sinned, we were covered with the flesh of the beast of the field. Which beast do you think it was whose flesh we were covered with? Nachash, the serpent. That's why we have a reptilian mind. Job 10:11, you covered me with the flesh and the skin and knit me together with the bone and the sinew. If I'm not the flesh, the skin, the bone, or the sinew, what am I? Who am I? I can be the nephesh, which is the beastly soul, or I can ascend higher to the neshama, and then there are grades above that. So that's a message for today. Do those individuals that are involved in all this stuff that's going on believe you to be a non-player character and have no value? Yes, most definitely they do. Most definitely they do. And the way they look at it probably is you're more concerned with bread and circuses. So that's the message for today. God bless. Much love.